Welcome to The Complete Athlete, a series for athletes who first understand the importance that mental toughness plays in their sport. Second, who want to have more control over their emotions, both on and off the field. Third, for athletes who want to decrease their chance of injury. And finally, this series is for athletes who want to increase their mobility, coordination, endurance, and overall strength. Every podcast in this series covers the key components a successful athlete needs mentally and will be followed by either a short clip targeting the most common problem areas for athletes or a full yoga class that helps connect mind and body, helping create the complete athlete. For more information, go to www.ishawarriors.com/complete athlete info. This is Monday Mindset with Isha Warriors, episode 58. Why do NFL players do yoga? Interview with Parker Ferguson from the Denver Broncos. Aloha. My name is Ali Lothane. I've been empowering and inspiring others through yoga for over 15 years, specializing in yoga for teens. If you are ready to live life to the fullest and love it along the way, let's enjoy the journey together. D'Aloha Betty, and good morning to my friends in Cote d'Ivoire. When I think about the fact that there are people in the Ivory Coast listening to Monday Mindset, I kind of just want to pinch myself and make sure I am not dreaming, because it feels that way sometimes. It's so exciting. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary. So thank you. Thank you guys for sharing Monday Mindset. Thank you for leaving reviews. Thank you for subscribing and helping me keep this podcast sustainable without having to rely on advertising. So anyway, just thank you. And a quick reminder that because of our anniversary, all of our programs are half off right now. That's the annual teen yoga or one of our specialty series, including our 6-week series, Yoga for Athletes. You can get it for $35. That's 6 weeks of amazing for your athlete with me. Check it out. In the show notes, I'll have links. So today, I am so excited, you guys, because you guys get to meet Parker today, and he is such a cool dude. It was so awesome to be able to interview him, get to know him a little bit better, and hear his story. Parker Ferguson is entering his 3rd season in the NFL, now as a member of the Denver Broncos. He's a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy and a Hoosier native, graduating from Center Grove High School. Parker learned about yoga his rookie year in the league alongside several other teammates when he was playing for the New York Jets. So without further ado, I'm going to hop over to that interview where Parker answers the question, why do NFL players do yoga? Hey, Parker, what's up?
What's up? Good to be here. Good to join you.
I'm so glad to have you. So I always start with a little would you rather question, very deep, deep topics here.
I have to get to the basis of my being. Yeah.
Get to the basis of your being. Yes. So, Parker, would you rather go a year without Netflix or a year without music?
I would say a year without Netflix.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big music lover. Like I have a record player and I have like a record collection. I'm in the process of like attaining more. I just like, it's kind of like a thing I do is like collect records and stuff like that. I like TV shows. Like I love Breaking Bad. Shout out Netflix. I love The Sopranos. I binged Ozark this year, but I'm not really like a TV guy.
Yeah.
Like I could go home and like not turn the TV on all night if I'm just like cooking, listening to music, listening to like a podcast, something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I love music, so I wouldn't be able to go without that one.
Can't live without music.
Yeah, it's good.
And like the soundtracks to all the shows, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, no, not gonna cut it. I need some classic. I need some old Johnny Cash. I need some Michael Jackson. I need some rap music I like nowadays. Yeah, I need all that stuff. So
wait, don't you have a Johnny Cash tattoo?
Yeah, I have his mugshot. I have his Folsom Prison mugshot on my thigh.
See, we really did get to the base of
I know. It's yeah, you and your would you rather questions. Very good. Yeah.
So I would love for my audience just to kind of get to know you, your story, and how you're introduced to yoga. Um, but like, where are you from? Tell us where you're
Yeah,
from.
a little bit about myself to whoever's listening is
Oh, we're listening worldwide, man. There's someone in
worldwide.
Germany,
It's all
Russia.
over. You never
Yes,
know. You never know.
exactly.
I so I'm from Indianapolis, from the area. I'm from the South Side in Greenwood. I grew up there, born and raised. Went to Center Grove High School, and then I went to college on a football scholarship to the Air Force Academy, which was kind of funny because it's a military academy. And I really enjoyed the people I met there, the experiences I had there. A lot of my best friends in the world I went to the academy with. Whenever you go through like a difficult time with someone, whether it's basic training or survival training or just 4 years at like a military institution, you really create great bonds with them. So, and they're all doing crazy stuff. They're like, overseas deployments, cool stuff like that they do. And then I was fortunate enough throughout my college career, I was a starter starting in my sophomore year, and then was fortunate enough to make first team all conference and different things like that. And then so I realized the NFL was a possibility. So I kind of had an interesting way to get into professional sports. With me being a military member at that time, I had to get essentially clearance from the Secretary of Defense.
What?
Yeah, right. It's a really weird story how it all happened, but I basically submitted a packet. They were cool to work with, but I still will have 5 years active duty to join, and it'll actually be the Space Force. That was the job I was given as a space operator in the Space Force. But I'm not in the military now. I delayed my
Yeah.
commitment to play football. So then I was signed to the New York Jets my rookie year. Unfortunately, I sustained an injury. I broke my left ankle. It wasn't really a break. It was technically a high ankle sprain, but I tore a bunch of the ligaments and stuff. So then I was injured that year. And then my second year in the league, I signed with the Atlanta Falcons for about a month. And then I ended the season for another month in Denver Broncos. So I've been on 3 teams in 2 years, which you'd rather be on, one team and create a career somewhere, but hopefully I can get my footing, and hopefully I'll be in Denver for, a while. So
But
we'll
it
see.
seems like it's probably more common than not to play on
Very
multiple
common.
teams.
Yeah. In professional sports, it's like you think a lot of the guys are, millionaires or this and that. And
Yeah.
some definitely are, but a lot of guys are guys who are clawing, scrapping and trying to make a way for themselves like me. And it's funny because people always ask, like, you're gonna buy a house in Denver, blah, 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 blah. It's
Right.
funny because if there's 60 guys on an NFL team, if there's 69 on a team, probably like maybe 5 or 6 could buy a house in the city. A lot of the guys will have to rent a place, and then
Right.
because you never know when you could be traded, when you could be cut from the team. So you usually have your home base in your
Yeah.
hometown or somewhere that you like, and then maybe you rent at the place. But yeah, it's funny, but it's been cool. Family's supportive. I have a great fiance. She's supportive, so she's along for the ride. So it's cool in a way of, you see new cities, you see new towns, you're part of different cultures and things like that throughout America. But ideally, you stick around for a team for a
And
while.
what's your fiance's name?
Lauren, yeah, she's Lauren Joseph. She was actually a former athlete as well. She was a pole vaulter at UIndy,
Oh,
University of
wow.
Indianapolis. So yeah, that's a cool thing. And then now she's a 6th grade teacher in Avon. So she's a great person. Yeah.
Well,
So
congratulations on
yeah,
being
thank you very
engaged
much.
to an amazing person.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very exciting. Yeah.
So you started playing football at what age?
Yeah, I started playing. This is funny. I started playing tackle football when I was in 2nd grade. So
What?
yeah, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I don't know if I ever have sons, hopefully I have kids, and one day if they're interested in sports, I don't know if I'll start them that early, just with
Yeah.
what we know with like injuries and things like that now. But back when I started playing football in like 2005, maybe it was
Yeah.
just different back then. But yeah, I started playing football then. And I played basketball my whole life. I played soccer when I was a younger kid. I did gymnastics when I was a young kid. Talk about flexibility and things like that. I really liked what the body coordination, things like that I learned from doing that. But I was always into sports. My whole life I was into sports. I was into other things too. I was into student government. I would try to be a well-rounded guy. I was into Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I was involved there. I did a lot of things. I tried to stay involved, but I always knew I loved football and I wanted to go to college and play football. So
That's
thankfully.
amazing.
Mhm.
I'm so happy for you that like you had this passion and this purpose and that you're getting to live that right now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a blessing, and you just got to take advantage of it because it could all be over next year, tomorrow. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like you never
Right.
know. Especially in professional sports, it's very volatile. So enjoy it while you're in it, and I always think of it like this. I always think of like I'll try to just get every ounce. If my talent was a wet washcloth, right? Just squeeze out every ounce of talent, of
Yeah.
opportunity, of luck, whatever it is, because luck is involved, opportunity is involved, right time, right place. I just try to squeeze every single thing I can out of it. And because one day it'll be all over and just want to be proud of what I did. So
I'm like, what great advice for all of us though. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
let's live this life to the fullest right now. Let's squeeze every ounce. I love how you said, let's squeeze every
yeah,
ounce of every
absolutely.
opportunity, luck, love, all the things and really enjoy
Yes.
the present.
You don't want to leave stones unturned, you don't want to have regret and everything like that. So
Absolutely. So, I mean, it sounds like you did a lot of things in your spare time. You were a part of some different organizations, different sports and everything. Um, what are some of your favorite things about playing NFL football?
well, the it's a good question because there's a lot of really great things. There's some tough things.
Yeah, tell us the favorite and tell us the tough. Highlight, low light, insights. Go.
Yeah, I like it. So the highlight would be it was a childhood dream. And it's I realize how fortunate I am. I love the training. So if I had to pinpoint, I don't want to give you some like cliche, answer. If I had to say one thing, my favorite thing is the attention to detail of our training and like our nutrition plans.
Wow.
I love that. Like just having 3 meals a day, I don't have to worry about. I know it's going to be healthy. I know it's going to be tasty. Having all of my workouts like planned for me. And I know it's like state of the art stuff. Like it's going to be injury prevention. It's going to be explosion. It's going to be strength. It's going to be all that
Yeah.
stuff I'm into. So that'd be my favorite part of that, of being an NFL player. Just the focus and the attention we're given in terms of our bodies and our health,
Yeah.
which makes sense, right? And then the low
Absolutely.
the low light would be how volatile it is. So job security is really low for a guy like me. If you're getting paid $50 million, you're star quarterback, you have great job
Right.
security, right?
Right.
But if you're a guy like me who's a younger player, was injured his first year, doesn't have too much experience, things like that, you're kind of scraping, you're kind of clawing for every
Yeah.
opportunity, every way to get to it. So and you can get cut, unfortunately, which basically that means like you're fired. And a
Right.
lot of times, sometimes it's performance based, sometimes it's injury based, sometimes it's just we need a new position. You were doing good, but we can only have so many players here. So and so got injured, so we have to bring in a new player there, and then so you're
Yes.
out. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah. It's a
the low
business.
light. It's a business, so the low light is the things out of your control.
Yeah.
Because I like to, I think a lot of people like to have be in positions where they're in control. They can kind of write their own destiny a little bit. In some ways, I can. Some ways, you can't. So
Yeah, I think people can relate to that too, because a lot of us deal with things that are out of our control. I always think like focus on the things that I can control and do it with a grateful heart and like try and
yeah,
let go and let
I
go.
agree.
I feel like let go is probably the mantra that I use the most in my yoga classes because
Yes,
it's
I
so
like
hard
it.
to do, you know?
Think of how much, like, I don't know if implicit stress, but I think people carry around a lot of stress in their life that they're not even fully aware of, because
Absolutely.
it's like psychologically things that they want to take care of. Everyone likes checklists, take care of this, take care of that. A lot of things we can't take care of, and it's hard to turn that switch. It's hard to let go. It's hard to understand that this might go poorly, but I can't do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or this might go well, and it's,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah, I think a lot of people carry that with them.
absolutely. And we carry that in our bodies.
Yes, definitely.
We totally do.
That's one of the things I like about yoga is like the release and everything like that. But go,
What a
sorry, I didn't
wonderful lead into yoga. Yes.
mean
You know,
smooth transition.
yeah, thank you for transitioning for me. I actually just had someone yesterday come up to me after a class and she's just like, Allie, this is the second time I've cried in your class. Like, what's going on? And I'm like,
Really?
what do you mean? She goes, just during Shavasana, while you're kind of talking me through it. She's like, I just kind of find myself crying. And I said, well, that's a really healthy release. Like, you've allowed yourself to be open to something that maybe you've been holding inside. You
Yeah.
haven't even realized, that you've been holding this tension in your
Yeah.
body or this emotional stress. And you've allowed yourself like physically, emotionally, mentally to like open up and let go. And I'm like, that's a good thing. I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't tell
it
you
is
how many
good.
people have cried in my yoga class. Parker, have you ever cried in a yoga
I
class?
haven't. I have. That's nice though that it's manifesting in that way, and then
Yeah,
they're not carrying that baggage with them and like freaking out while they're driving
right,
a car. You know what I mean? Or like they're
right.
mad at a loved one who does a small thing. It's nice
So
that they're able to do that in yoga in a good environment and everything.
I like that. You guys, number one reason why we should do yoga, so we don't have road rage. We can,
Yeah. So you
we
don't
can,
freak out when someone cuts you off accidentally or
right. We
oh
can get
yeah,
it
you
out on
don't
the
get mad
mat
when
instead
yeah,
of
when
at our
someone
loved
spills a
ones.
glass of water, you have an episode. Yeah, you don't want
An
to do
episode.
that. That's not good.
Exactly. So when were you introduced to yoga?
I was introduced to yoga, so I never had any experience until with yoga throughout high school, college. It was near the end of my rookie year in the league, so probably honestly probably just a little over a year ago this
Okay.
time, which is funny. I wish I would have started it sooner for a lot of reasons, but
I'm sorry.
um,
Can we just say that one more time, just for everyone listening?
I wish I would started sooner. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. I had always heard about it, and one of my buddies, and several friends actually in college would do yoga and things like that. But I was just busy a lot of times, and I know that's not a great reason, but I'm sure I could have found time. Right, there's enough time to find if you wanted to, but it wasn't a top priority for me as
Yeah.
it is now. But yeah, about a year ago, I started doing it. And I started doing it with the Jets as part of like they were called their regenerative days.
Okay.
We started doing in our spring training. It's called OTAs. Essentially, it's spring training in the NFL. And so basically, it'd be a day where it's light practice, and we do a lift, and we'd have an option. We'd have several masseuses come in. We could do foam roller. We could do an ice tub, hot tub therapy thing. We could do
Yeah.
sauna. A lot of different things. They had when people get needled. Anyways, lot of options. But then I realized one day a lot of my teammates were going to the field house for yoga with this really really nice, super charismatic lady. She made it really welcoming,
Yeah.
especially for someone like me who probably was like, it's cool. I'll just do the massage. I'll just do this and that. But this lady was like, made yoga seem kind of cool, I guess. So I
Yeah.
went in there. She was playing music. It's funny because it's a little different than music we played in your guys' class. It was like
Yeah.
kind of upbeat music
Yeah.
almost. So I liked
Everyone
it.
thinks like it always has to be like this mellow, whatever
Like
music,
Zen or
but
something. Yeah.
guys, Parker does yoga with me at like 6:30 in the morning. Like we got to pump it up. Like we'll
Yeah,
just fall
exactly.
asleep if
People
we
are gonna
don't.
be falling asleep too much Zen. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, long story short, we did it, and I just remembered we focused a lot because everyone asked like, what are we focusing on today? A lot of yoga instructors asked that, and so a lot of guys said about ankles and hips. There's two common things that professional athletes, especially positions I play, like bigger guys, you want to work on your ankles and your hips and things like that. So we did it. First time, I was using a lot of blocks. I had a
Yeah.
lot of the towels underneath me, right?
Yeah.
It hurt my knees to put it straight on the thing. I was a beginner. I was a beginner in every sense of the word, but I really liked how my body felt, and I really liked the vibe that was in there. Everyone was kind of at different stages with it, but I felt great. And then I continued doing it every week. It was really only about twice a week, once or
Yeah.
twice a week. So I can't say it was every day or anything like
But
that.
still, twice a week, going from nothing.
Going to nothing, yeah, once or
Yeah.
twice a week, and then that became part of my thing really throughout the off season, and then I started doing it again this off season. I want to do it more in the in season. I need to work it into my routine of how I do everything because I'll ice bath almost every day. Maybe I should do maybe that's not an hour of yoga, but maybe I do 15 minutes every single day
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But I need to work it into my routine because the way I felt was amazing with the body, and it wasn't until later I started getting the mind benefits from it because I was interested at first because I wanted my body to feel better when I'm playing
Yeah.
football,
Well, and
strictly
you're
for
probably really motivated since you had an injury.
Exactly. Yes. I was guns ablazing. I needed to be out there. I needed to do everything I could to make sure my athletic performance is where it needed to be.
Yeah.
So that's why I introduced yoga. And then I realized probably a month, 2 months, 3 months in, well, part of my athletic performance is also my mental performance. And that's really important thing because you can know the playbook, you can know your job, but in football, college, high school, really any level, you have to be able to block out like the loud noises in the moment. So um, just block out distractions, block out whatever it is, whether it's self-doubt, doubt from others, too much self-belief, you know what I mean? Whatever it is,
Right.
negative or positive, I found it's good just to be quiet in your mind, especially when you're playing football. And so I started trying to practice that in yoga, like in your class and other classes. I'll always just try my best to think about nothingness to the best I can, which is kind of hard because when I
Yeah.
think about nothing, I'm thinking about nothing. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but so I've tried to I've implemented that into my routine when I do yoga of just being totally like absent and it's clear in my mind, and that's been really great with football as well.
Absolutely. I think it helps. I mean, I know for me, just to have someone talking me through it.
Yes,
You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
Like, so like when someone's talking me through Shavasana, I'm able to relax. I'm able to be more in the moment. If someone's saying breathe in and breathe out, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I can just focus on breathing in and breathing out, you know? It's
I
kind of like
totally
when you
agree.
were talking about how you love the training aspect because all the things are like taken care of for you and you can just do it. You know what I mean? You don't have
Yes.
to worry about the details. It's the same like when you're trying to get in that mindset, I think it helps someone else talking you through it.
Yeah, I think of it as like you're sitting passenger in a car, but you're controlling the speed. So it's like the pedals are in the passenger seat, but someone's steering. So we can go pedal to the metal because I know someone else is steering. Does that make sense? Kind of.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about steering because the athletic trainers and the people they're going to get the right program. We don't have to worry about my yoga because you're going to put me in all the right positions and things
Yeah.
like that. So I can just focus on doing it well.
I love that analogy so much. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I'm copywriting that, man. I'm using it.
Yeah, feel free to use it. Feel free to use it. You're sitting passenger, but you're in control of the speed. Someone else is steering.
Right. I
Yeah,
love that. So that you can just allow yourself to enjoy the journey.
absolutely. I totally agree. Yep.
So you feel like yoga has benefited you, one, mentally, just being in
Yeah.
a good headspace, being able to cut down distractions. You talked about physically, you said, I just loved how my body felt. Can you, like, what does that mean? What do you mean you loved how your body felt?
Yeah, I think well, one, professional athletes, but then also I think a lot of people would walk around every day with ailments. Just their bodies don't feel 100%. So specifically for me though, I noticed kind of ankle stiffness, hip stiffness, things that probably wouldn't bother me if I was, had a normal job or I was, sitting in office or doing a different job. But
Mm.
it really becomes an issue if you have tight hips and you are NFL offensive lineman. You have to be really flexible. You have to be healthy. And as you know, obviously, if you have too much stiffness in your body, sometimes that turns into injury.
Yeah.
So you have to alleviate those things early. So just different ankle movements we do. And then I noticed that I felt like springier when I ran. I felt healthier. My hips could move better. Um, my
You felt
lumbar,
lighter on your feet. When you said
yeah,
spring,
ladder,
you felt
yeah,
lighter on your feet,
totally.
like more mobile.
More mobile. My
Yeah.
lumbar spine, I remember we did some low back stuff. We still do low back stuff with you and people at Fire. Yeah, just the aches and the pains that I would feel playing football were kind of alleviated. They're still there, but they're I know how to fix them now because
Yeah.
obviously football is a collision sport. You're gonna have things,
Right.
but yeah, you don't ever want to be. There's a difference between like a bruise from getting hit and then like an injury because your body doesn't move well. Your hips aren't healthy. Your ankles
Right.
aren't healthy. So I tried to do those things for that reason. So
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's really, really good advice. Um, have you felt like yoga has helped you like off the mat? Not just in football, but just like in life.
hmm. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Just like you talked about mental, like your game in football. Like, have you felt like the things that you do on the mat helps you just like in your interpersonal relationships or,
Yeah. I've never, that's a good question. I should probably be more aware of that because I've never really thought of it in that way. I've always thought about yoga, which is probably different than a lot of people. Everyone thinks of yoga for different reasons. I
right?
use yoga as like a tool for obviously my athletic performance and my mental performance. But if
Yeah.
I just thought about yoga as a way of just helping my own being, my own person,
Yeah.
maybe I should be more aware of that. Yeah, I don't know. I wish
Amazing.
I had a better answer, but
No, that's a good answer.
because I've
But I like,
always been, I can't say, oh, well, I'm like nicer now or more compassionate or anything like that. Because I've always been like a fun loving, like
right.
chill guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
No, it's not
yeah,
like it's going to transform you into this new person. I just,
yeah,
I like what you said though, and I think that this is very relatable that like everyone feels like yoga is different for them and that you use it as a tool, and that's not a good or bad thing. Like that's exactly what you need it to do in your life.
totally. Yeah, I clumped yoga in as like part of my training time because
Yeah.
that's what I was using it for. But then some people might go in and like the person you were talking about who was crying, it might be for where me, I clump yoga in with like weight room session. They might be clumping yoga in with like a therapy session, or
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just like
totally.
whatever, however they're using it. I think it's a good thing about yoga because you can use it. You can have 10 people in a room and they're getting 10 different things out of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I love that about yoga. Well, and I think too, like I would just put out there to you like that volatileness, the unknowing of like the job security and all that stuff. Like yoga is
Yeah,
going to help you process that stuff too.
big time.
You know what I
I
mean? So I
think
guess I was thinking that when I was like, can you use it off the mat too? But it's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like if I'm more grounded, even though it's not going to change things I don't have control over, it's going to help me deal with those things.
you are right. I totally agree. That is a good way I could use it in that way.
Because you could definitely like make yourself crazy, like worrying about that. And then that's
Yeah,
going to affect your play and your confidence and all that stuff. So,
very true. Very
yeah,
true. Yeah, it's stressful. Stressful. When it's your job, it's stressful, right? I mean, so
yeah. So let me just ask you this. You said the first time you came to a yoga class, it was kind of uncomfortable, but you felt like, you know what, the benefits are going to outweigh the discomfort. I'm going back,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
And what would you tell people like, you're kind of you're a big dude. Like, how tall are you?
Yeah. I'm like 6'5", 330 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, so like as you're doing the poses and stuff, especially at the beginning, especially before you were doing it 2 times a week and stuff. Like, what would you tell people? Like, hey, I'm a big dude. I can do this. Let me tell you how or why, or you know what I mean? Like, what to
Yeah.
expect.
I would say, well, one, your health is like the best wealth that you could ever have. So you have to, I mean, you can't put your health and the way your body feels, the way your mind feels is like who you are as a person. So um you have to be able to invest in that with like time. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? In terms
yeah,
of you gotta start somewhere. But yeah, I would say if you feel like you might be out of place at yoga, you're too out of shape right now, you think, oh, I gotta lose 15 pounds before I can go to yoga. Like, don't wait. Like
yeah,
help yoga will help your body feel better in order to lose the weight that you want
yeah,
to, or something like that. Or if you think, I'm a mess right now mentally, I'm not ready to be zenned out with a bunch of people. Like, no, think of it
right.
as yoga will help you get to where you want to be. So yeah, I think it's a cool thing about yoga. In the NFL, it's a bunch of big dudes like me doing it, and then in your class, it's just I think we had like two or three guys, and then like the rest were this kind of more petite women, if I
Yeah,
remember. It's all just all different body types,
right.
all different age types, all just all different people who are in there. So
So don't
yeah,
be
I would say
intimidated, right? Like it
don't be
all
intimidated, yeah, because what you need from yoga might be different from what someone else would need from yoga. And everyone at one point was starting out. Everyone at one
yeah,
point was like, "Oh, this position hurts," and I still feel like that in a lot of things because I'm just kind of a more of a naturally stiff person. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So I'd say just don't be worried. Don't think, oh, that should be me. It's like comparison is like the thief of joy, right? I think Teddy Roosevelt said that. So if you're comparing yourself to others, it's going to take away from the enjoyment or from the moment that you're in. So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell my people all over the world? What are you going to tell them, Parker?
I don't. If I had to leave a lasting thing, just you have to be able to invest into your health and who you are, your mental health, who you are, your spiritual health, your body health. So invest in that, and I think a really good way to start and hopefully continue. I plan to do yoga for many many years. Hopefully, it's a part of my just who I am as a person. When I no longer need the athletic performance, I'll still need the mental, acuity, mental fortitude, and I'll still want to be healthy and
Right.
pain free and not stiff or anything like that. So the best thing I think we can do as people is to just invest in your health and who you are. And I think yoga is a really good way to do that.
I love that. Well said. Isha Warriors is celebrating our 1 year anniversary this month. It has been such a privilege to serve you, and we want to share our gratitude with y'all by offering 50% off our annual teen yoga membership. That makes it only $8 a month, and you have access to hundreds of yoga videos, ranging from vinyasa to chair yoga, and including our special teen series, Yoga for Athletes and Freedom from Anxiety and Depression. So go to www.ishawarriors.com/join-teen-yoga and come be a part of our family in the yoga space.